How do you get rid of your fear of hell after you no longer believe in hell? Hi, my name is Brian Peck, and I help former believers move through their deconversion with clarity and purpose so they can get on with living a life of vitality and meaning beyond belief. In my work with individuals who are healing from religious-based trauma or navigating a deconversion, it's common for individuals to share this fear of hell that persists long after they no longer believe in an actual place of fire and brimstone. And why is that? Why does this fear persist? And I think often we kind of categorize it as an irrational fear, and we try to challenge it or overcome it with rational thought. And I think that works for some people, at least a little bit. For a lot of us, however, this kind of trying to find evidence to disprove hell simply kind of provokes our anxiety. And in some ways, we get even more stuck around this feeling. Now, we don't believe in it, and we try to find enough evidence to prove to ourselves that it's not true or not real. But our anxiety doesn't really buy it. There's still this nagging thought, this doubt, like, what if there is this place? And you think about kind of how our brains work. If you're walking along a path, for instance, and you come across a stick across the path, it's not uncommon to like jump back in fear because your brain is interpreting this stick as a snake. And you're reacting and responding to something that isn't actually what your brain thought it was. Even one step further, you can be sitting around talking with your friends, and someone can describe a story about a snake. And if you're afraid of snakes, you can have a very visceral reaction to a story. There's not even a physical object that's kind of tricking your brain. Your brain is able to recreate this story in a way that you have a response to it. So this is what our brains do because we have language, because we can have symbols for things that don't actually exist in the present moment. So what does this have to do with hell? Well, we can have reactions and responses to things that never existed, but because we were taught them, because we had, and often in a context of a really strong emotional experience, those thoughts, those fears become really kind of part of our experience. And so they're going to be there. For us to say, I no longer believe in hell, why do I still fear hell? Kind of wants us to, in some ways we're trying not to be human. We're saying like, I want to, only believe true things and, not believe false things. Well, that's all well and good. And that's really useful in contexts where it's possible to do that. But our brain has this kind of built-in alarm that is a better safe than sorry alarm. And it's very much like a smoke detector in that we'd sooner a smoke detector be triggered when you burn your toast than to not be triggered when there's an actual house fire. And so anxiety works in the same way. There's this better safe than sorry quality to it. So here's what I do instead. And I'm going to offer you this little thing to try with your fear of hell if it continues to persist for you. Instead of reaching for a book, doing more research, amassing a huge pile of evidence that hell is not real, and kind of provoking your anxiety to, counter your evidence with its own kind of what if, and maybe there's still this place and we better be safe than sorry. you can see how you can get stuck there. Instead of doing that, I want you to try something different. What if you imagined this fear of hell, kind of like an orphan? There's this little orphan child who is freaked out about hell. And this orphan child simply wants to keep you safe. Like they're really invested in you being safe. So whenever they see something that's kind of upsetting to them or potentially dangerous, such as a story of a scary place where people burn forever, they're going to like freak out and tell you, hey, we need to watch out for this. This is really scary, even if it's not real. So you might tell a child, an orphan child, hey, it's not real. Don't worry about it. But that's not usually effective. What they need in that moment is to be comforted, to know that they're okay, not to be told that they're wrong and that it's irrational what they're feeling. And so I encourage you, when this fear shows up for you, imagine it being this little orphan child, and imagine you putting your arm around this child and saying, thank you for caring about me. Thank you for trying to keep me safe. I appreciate it. I just want you to know I'm here for you, and it's okay that you feel this way. Now I'm going to continue living my life and doing the things that are important to me. I'm not going to be pushing you away or dismissing you. You're welcome to come with me. It's going to be scary at times, and these thoughts will show up on occasion, and that's okay. But go ahead and come along with me. I would like you to experience this life that I'm living. Now, see, there's a different quality to that approach. There's not this pushing away or this arguing or this confrontation. It's more of this openness and saying, I'm able to feel what I feel and still do what's important to me. So give it a try. Let me know how it goes. I know there are other approaches to dealing with anxiety, of course, and not every approach works for every person. I'm aware of that. This particular opening up to and being with your experience tends to work for a lot of individuals when the other kinds of approaches don't work. So give it a try and let me know how it goes. Again, my name is Brian Peck, and I'm a clinical social worker specializing in religious-based trauma and helping people navigate their deconversion. If you would like to follow me, you can find my links to my social media on my website. It's roomtothrive.com. So visit me there, and I look forward to hearing from you. Take care.